A few days ago, the 2025 Central Economic Work Conference was held, and this meeting will announce important economic tasks for the second year every time, so it is very helpful for you to understand market trends and resource flows. So what signals have been released this year? What opportunities are hidden in 2026? I have established 8 key places to share with you. Task 1. Domestic demand from blood transfusion to hematopoiesis. In the past 2 years, domestic demand has been the first task, but the logic of driving domestic demand has changed. Last year's task was essentially a subsidy, making everyone willing to consume through blood transfusions. But what does this year's task mean by formulating an income increase plan? It is to support self-employment and other ways to make you more money. So this is from blood transfusion to hematopoiesis, and he emphasized this sentence: effectively stimulate the vitality of private investment. This means that for private enterprises, restrictions on individual investors may be loosened. So where is the opportunity? The original text mentions expanding the supply of high-quality goods and services, clean up unreasonable restrictions in the field of consumption. For example, you want to run a high-quality nursing home. As a result, the approval procedures can run out of line. You want to be a high-end housekeeping platform. As a result, all kinds of qualifications are stuck. These restrictions may be gradually optimized in the future. At the same time, high-quality service. For example, high-quality housekeeping.
Personnalise de tour.
It can improve the life experience. Time-saving business. Perhaps new opportunities will come. Task 2. Innovation. From burying your head in tackling key problems to accelerating landing. In 2026, the direction of innovation has shifted to accelerated implementation. There are 3 ways to implement it. First of all, the document directly names 3 places: Gold Economy, Yangtze River Delta, Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. These 3 places will build international science and technology innovation centers. Next, who will innovate? From the state lead to the main body of the enterprise. The original text specifically mentions strengthen the main position of enterprise innovation. This is not to say that the country is not important. Instead, enterprises must be at the forefront because they know what kind of technology the market is willing to pay. And the hottest ARI. Last year's mention of ARI was to encourage exploration. This year is to deepen, expand, and improve governance. When ARI is really about to roll out, with that comes data security. Ethical norms have also become a top priority. I understand this. The opportunity is clear. First of all, for finding a job, or for those who start a business, location may be more important than ever. A large number of innovative resources. It is moving towards the gin economy. Yangtze River Delta large curved configuration. People who sell shovels at the same time. Spring will also usher in, since enterprises want to become the main force of innovation. Then help enterprises engage in research and development, and other enterprises engaged in transformation will usher in a wave of business growth. Task 3. Reform. From the rules to the dismantling of blockages. Reform in 2026. It is necessary to remove the blockages that hinder economic development. It was really demolished. For example, the National Unified Market. From guidelines to regulations. Guidance is an initiative. Regulations are regulations. These are barriers designed to protect local businesses. It may all be demolished. Efficient enterprise. Products and services can be delivered faster. It is reopened nationwide. For example, the whole branch is rolled in for the first time. It is written in the task of reform. Rely on unlimited subsidies. Vicious price war. Behavior that brings down the industry. It can become a regulated violation. Another example. Increase the protection of private enterprises. Improve the private economy promotion law. Supporting laws and policies. And step up cleanup. Arrears of enterprise accounts. In this context, who will benefit? 1. Chain brands. There may be a dividend, especially catering, retail, life services, because the invisible threshold for cross-regional operation has been lowered. In the future, you can more easily open a store to the whole country. 2. Value-based enterprises will be easier and easier to get ahead. You can focus on quality and efficiency. Policies will help you prevent vicious competition. 3. Enterprises with service shortcomings will have an outbreak of rigid demand. Digital information on finance, taxation, and legal affairs. These businesses will be in greater demand. In the past, your moat may have been a license relationship, but in the future your moat must be efficiency and innovation. Task 4. Openness. Move from open projects to open rules. Last year's opening relied on preferential policies. For example, Tariff reductions and subsidies have relaxed access. But this year, it has become a steady institutional form. It's just that I don't just welcome you to buy things. You are also welcome to come in and sell things together. This requires your intellectual property. You can get it here too. Protection as if it were in one's own country. Procurement link. Foreign capital can also be treated the same as domestic capital. China is doing business from the open door towards building markets according to international rules. In this way, the original sentence encourages the export of support services. It has a deeper meaning, because selling services is completely different from selling products. Sell software, sell consulting, sell RE tool services. It depends on trust. So this is actually paving the way for China's service industry to go overseas. That's on this road. Who runs the fastest? The first is the digital overseas enterprises, software domestic games, RE application cross-border e-commerce platform. The legal obstacles for these enterprises to go overseas will be gradually removed. In the future, you can not only sell goods but also sell your abilities. Then there is the rule translation level. Since it is necessary to align with international rules, then understanding the rules becomes a rigid need. For example, a consulting agency that understands EU tariffs, a law firm that understands cross-border data privacy, task coordination development rate, from their respective stabilization to linkage reconstruction. There are 3 strategic points here. It deserves your special attention. 1. County seat. It is an important position for future urbanization. The reason is to promote the overall promotion. Urbanization construction with county seats as an important carrier. The resource carrying capacity of big cities is almost at its limit. In the future, the county seat will be a new reservoir for China's economy. 2. The urban agglomeration will further deepen coordinated development. Future competing units. It may no longer be a single city. It is an urban core like the Yangtze River Delta and Yaganga. Administrative barriers and duplicate construction within the core. It may become the focus of reform. 3. Bay. Upgrade to a national strategic gateway. Similar areas represented by the Greater Bay Area. It will gradually undertake higher-end industrial and international trade functions. Where is that opportunity? The first is the standardization of the downtown market. Since the county seat is the reservoir of the future, then the business model that has been verified in 1 or 2 counties and cities, replicated to the county through standardization. It is still a huge dividend. The consumption upgrade in the county continues. The second is the cross-city connection business. After the walls inside the urban agglomeration were demolished, services connecting cities will explode. For example, sedimentary logistics, cross-city supply chain management, regional common life service cards, etc. In the past, we drew circles on the map. Circle the territory. In the future, we will connect on the map. Let the resources run. Task 6. Dual carbon. Upgrading from industrial upgrading to system reconstruction. Mention of dual carbon. Many people's first reaction is environmental protection. What does a big enterprise have to do with me? But if you compare it with last year, the deeper the logic of dual carbon. First, upgrade from construction projects to construction systems. The original text says, formulate an outline of the plan for building an energy power. Accelerate the construction of a new energy system. Attention is the system, so it's not just about how much electricity is generated. Instead, the tubes are well delivered. Second, upgrade from talking about concepts to real transactions. The original text emphasizes, strengthen the construction of the national carbon emission trading market. In the future, carbon emissions will be the cost of real money. Emission reduction is a real craft. Third, climate issues have risen to the level of national security, and in the process, there will be many opportunities. 1. Energy management services will become a rigid need. Help enterprises calculate the carbon ledger clearly. Software to help factories optimize energy consumption. Energy conservation consultants can be very popular. 2. Power grid regulation business. The potential is huge. For example, energy storage power stations. For example, virtual power plants. 3. Climate resilience season is a new market. Urban transformation around responding to extreme weather. Facility upgrades. It may be a new market in Wanya. If last year's focus was on multiple trees, the focus of this year is forest planting. Task period 1. People's livelihood from the bottom line to investment and people. This year's people's livelihood has changed from cost to investment. Investing in people's competitiveness. It is reflected in 3 aspects. First, population changes from a natural result to a strategic variable. This sentence in the original text is very heavy. Efforts should be made to stabilize the size of the new birth population. This is no longer simply a subsidy. Encourage fertility. It is the population size itself. It has risen to the level of national strategic security. Population is the cornerstone of a strategy that must be stabilized. Second, education. From the implementation of fairness to the upgrade standard. This year, It is proposed to increase the number of ordinary high school degrees, expand undergraduate enrollment in high-quality colleges and universities. Basic education alone is not enough. The state wants everyone to have more skills. Third, employment. From a full rice bowl to a system. Last year, the emphasis was on help. The core is to keep you from losing your job. 1 year became the expansion system of Wengang. Also specifically mentioned, let flexible employment personnel participate in employee insurance. What are the opportunities in the process? One work and one small is still an incremental market, but there is a shift towards high quality and specialization. For example, maternal and infant services for melancholy, rehabilitation care and smart elderly care equipment for quality elderly care. At the same time, the number of flexible employment has reached 200 million. For example, vocational skills training for them. Social security payment services will also usher in growth. It used to be a demographic dividend, but the future is human capital. Task 8. Risk. From the short-term bottom shift to long-term repurchase. Real estate is no longer just a drag. Instead, change the mode. Why do you say that? Let's take a look at real estate. Last year's mission, it is to stop falling and stabilize. Release the rigid need for improvement. Contains livestock land. But this year it is control incremental destocking. Preferential supply. Acquisition of existing commercial housing. Convert to affordable housing. Here could be two signals. First, the old model is completely over. In the past, borrowing money to buy land, build a house quickly, sit and wait for the high turnover mode of price increases. It doesn't work. Clearly require control of increments. If you can't sell it, don't build it. It is necessary to develop into a good house where you can live for a long time. Second, the attributes of real estate have changed. Acquisition of stock housing for affordable housing. Real estate may develop into quasi-public goods. The 8 tasks were finally dismantled. The biggest feeling is the logic of the development of the times has really changed. This list of tasks for 2026 tell us clearly. Future growth will fully enter the golden root filigree stage. Short-term fast is not as stable as long-term. For example, from the pursuit of speed to the pursuit of quality. For example, from relying on subsidies to activating internal forces. For example, from barbaric growth to rule consensus. For example, from investment to investors. In this document, we see documents at the national level systematically reconstruct domestic demand, innovation and reform, the underlying logic of people's livelihood for longer-lasting health. In 2026, maybe there won't be a thrilling surge, but there will be a long stream of routing because one is fairer, more predictable. It is also a more stable era, may be coming. Pay attention till you run. Lower the cognitive threshold of business.